Welcome to The Explainer. Okay, let's just dive right in because today we are completely shattering the fairy tale. You know the one, that perfectly romanticized Hollywood idea of what a spiritual connection is actually supposed to look like? Well, based on our source material, the reality of a true soulmate is vastly different from what we've been taught to expect. And honestly, it's a whole lot more fascinating.
So, who is your soulmate? I want you to take a second and really think about your own life right now. Look at your past relationships, look at your present. Have you actually met your soulmate? Or is it possible that the connection you're currently holding on to, the one you've poured your whole heart into, is just an illusion?
Because here is the absolute quickest way to dismantle our most common relationship myth. Physical attraction does not mean they are your soulmate. Our source is super clear on this point. That honeymoon phase, the intense butterflies, the seemingly perfect dates where you just magically overlook every single flaw, that happens in almost every new bond. Temporary excitement is just that. It's temporary. It is absolutely not the hallmark of a divine spiritual connection.
So if it's not about immediate perfection and butterflies, what is it? Well, a soulmate is essentially a spiritual mirror. They don't enter your life just to be this flawless partner who makes everything easy for you. Actually, they arrive to expose the harsh realities you've been actively avoiding. They reflect back your hidden flaws, your deepest insecurities, and the fears you've just shoved down deep inside. And why do they do this? To trigger a profound transformation of your soul. Now, this happens through 4 completely counterintuitive stages of a genuine soulmate encounter. It starts with an intense connection. You feel incredibly, deeply drawn to them. But almost immediately, stage 2 hits, and your hidden flaws are revealed. They literally hold up that mirror. And this leads right into stage 3, which is an emotional breakdown, before you finally reach stage 4, true acceptance. It's a process that is systematically designed to tear down the emotional walls you spent a lifetime building. And surviving that emotional breakdown, it is tough. You're going to question the relationship entirely. The illusions you held about your own personality, that mask you wear for the outside world, are completely shattered. Deep insecurities are pulled right to the surface. But here is the real kicker. Despite the immense fear, despite your entire foundation shaking, you realize you just cannot walk away. The universe has essentially locked this bond in place to force your ultimate spiritual growth.
Section 1. Soulmate versus toxic relationships. This right here is a massively important distinction because it is incredibly dangerous to mistake emotional abuse for a spiritual lesson. Let's compare the two directly. In a toxic relationship, a partner uses your flaws to dominate you, to control you, and to constantly make you feel inferior. They literally weaponize your vulnerabilities. But a soulmate gently guides you to overcome your flaws without causing a rift or putting you down. So the absolutely crucial point is this: both relationships will point out your weaknesses, sure, but a toxic partner uses them for power, while a soulmate uses them strictly as a tool for your healing and your elevation.
Section 2. The shocking truth about marriage. Okay, so if someone is truly your soulmate and they elevate your soul, why didn't you end up marrying them? Well, get ready for a massive pattern interrupt. According to the source material, 90% of marriages are karmic marriages, and only 10% are actual soulmate marriages. I mean, let that sink in for a second. The vast, vast majority of people walking down the aisle are not actually marrying their soulmates.
So what exactly makes up that 90%? Well, a karmic connection is a relationship orchestrated strictly to settle past life debts. They often start incredibly smoothly, full of excitement, full of comfort, but eventually they start feeling dull and repetitive once that underlying karmic debt is actually cleared. Now, these connections are spiritually necessary to balance the cosmic scales of your life, but they are absolutely not the ultimate spiritual union. So why do soulmates rarely marry at first? Often, you simply weren't spiritually mature enough yet. You might have been driven strictly by physical, societal, or material desires, right? Like looking for a provider or a trophy rather than a true spiritual equal. If your soulmate had shown up then, you literally wouldn't have been able to handle their intense mirror effect. You would have run away. Instead, the universe waits. It typically waits for your existential crisis, a moment when you're deeply questioning your life's true purpose, to finally send them your way.
Section 3. Together, even in distance.
Because the true hallmark of a soulmate is this indestructible, lifelong nature that completely defies physical logic and standard relationship rules. This is how soulmates typically interact over a lifetime. You might have an initial, intensely deep bond, perhaps when you were young. But then, phase 2 hits, sudden separation. They might literally disappear from your life for decades. During this time, you both experience years of necessary individual growth. But then, phase 4, reunion. They often reappear out of absolutely nowhere, stepping back in exactly when your soul begins to wander or face a deep emotional void, providing guidance precisely when you need it most.
And hey, if you're ever sitting there wondering if this connection is just one-sided, if they are deeply embedded in your memories, you are deeply embedded in theirs. The source material emphasizes so strongly that this energy bond is completely mutual. It remains extraordinarily powerful, operating on a frequency that really doesn't care about how many miles or how many years currently separate the two of you.
The source actually offers this profoundly powerful litmus test. A soulmate will never give you pain. If you are hurting, your soulmate is hurting even more. This finally separates a divine, highly empathetic connection from the selfish suffering you'd find in a toxic relationship. Your soulmate is energetically tied to your well-being. As we wrap up this explainer today, I have a really critical question for you to ponder. Which stage are you in? Are you in a karmic connection, simply settling past cosmic debts? Are you in a toxic relationship that you now need to identify as such and escape from? Or have you found that rare, incredibly challenging, but ultimately transformative soulmate? I want to leave you with that thought. Evaluate your connections using this new spiritual framework and ask yourself, what is your mirror revealing about